how do you choose a speaker? Why would you want to choose a speaker? And what do you unequivocally want to make sure does not happen? AKA your deepest, darkest fear of bringing a speaker into your world. That's what we're talking about. You want a speaker because since the days of Cicero in ancient Rome, to the work of the founding fathers of America, to Abraham Lincoln in the Gettysburg Address, to Martin Luther King, to Oprah Winfrey holding the microphone for 30,000 people as an African American woman, overcoming racial bias, gender bias, teen pregnancy, and immense trauma to do the unthinkable in becoming a multi-billionaire who could wave her hand over someone who isn't even a doctor, Phil, and cause Dr. Phil to go from obscurity worth a couple $1,000,000 to worth $400 million, and the person solving the problems of all Americans watching daytime television. This is the power of the stage and the microphone. So we bring in a speaker because it has impact. It changes things. It causes things. It touches hearts, minds, souls. It forwards action. It creates context and frames. It could do things as simple as train people how to use tools like a computer, IT, ChatGPT-4, whatever it is. Things are caused in the athletic room, the training room, the corporate room, the boardroom, every place through the power of the spoken word, group influence, oration, call it what you will, but it's a human being having influence over a group of people, taking a thought from their mind, their heart, their soul, their being, transferring it to other people, having received and acted upon. That's why we bring in a speaker, to solve a problem, to galvanize a thing, to move something forward. What's my greatest fear? If I bring in a speaker or bring people from my teams to speakers, what's your greatest fear potentially, or what it should be, is that you're going to bring someone in. Not only is it going to not cause an outcome, it could actually be harmful. One of the most challenging, disappointing, and horrific things you could do is bring in an average speaker, an okay speaker, even a relatively good speaker. Why would you do this? Why would anyone take their team that they train, they lead, they're speaking to, and have somebody come in that's just good? Or have somebody come in who's doing a poor job? That's horrific. The credibility of the leader is diminished enormously. The group rolls their eyes, has complete frustration, is thinking, what am I even doing here? And has this effect. It causes the group, the person, the individual, to think that the speakers coming in the future, they're not going to listen to and want to have other speakers because they believe the speaker is just talking about something. They're not congruent in, there's not alignment of words, vocal qualities, and body language. And instead of causing the group of people to come together, it causes a group of people to divide, separate, and it's worse than if we didn't bring in a speaker in the first place. So how do you choose a speaker? But before that, who am I? And why would I have any right to share anything with you about choosing a speaker? The only people in the world that we should listen to about anything are people who have true mastery. The concept of modeling dictates this. Some people have done some things, and it is only those people we should listen to. For example, I have family members that have been divorced multiple times. These are not people I want to be seeking marriage advice and counseling from. The people we want to listen to are people who've done the things. So here's a little bit of my background in the world of public speaking and choosing. So 26 years ago, I'm walking around with my grandmother, my beloved Donnie, and we're in Long Beach Island, New Jersey. And we are at one of my least favorite places in the world personally, but one of my favorite places in the world because Nani loves it, a garage sale. And we find this group of books that are $1 each. And I pull one out. And the name of the book was How to Make a Fortune from Public Speaking by a man named Robert Anthony. So I'm like, this is interesting. So I buy the book and I begin to read it. At the same time, I've been studying some work of Jay Abraham, Success Secrets of a Marketing Genius. It's a book I bought for $500. My family thought I was crazy, and I'm reading these books and I put together a concept, the power of the stage and the microphone. It's what I mentioned earlier about Cicero and Martin Luther King and all these great orators, Oprah Winfrey. And I realized that if I want to have impact in my own life, and if I want to have impact in the lives of others, this is the way. So my first public speaking engagement, I prepared for 3 days for a 15-minute talk to underprivileged students. And I was at best barely okay. I searched for quotes from Greek philosophers and things to think about. I was somewhat incongruent, and I was a lot better than when I ran for class president in 7th grade and got 2 votes, and my wonderful stepfather wrote my speech, and it wasn't my words, it wasn't me, and it was horrible. It was a lot better than horrible, but I wasn't even near where I could go. Well, they're a long way from 3 days to prepare for a 15-minute speaking engagement. I've had the privilege of speaking on some of the most profoundly impactful stages in the world. Disney Corporation, T-Mobile, Salesforce, training sales leaders. I've spoken on Tony Robbins' stage 17 times, with the 18th time coming up soon. The reason I've had the privilege of speaking in these places and an event like Tomorrowland, if you don't know what that is, it's a festival in Europe with hundreds of thousands of people. And they do something called Love Tomorrow, where they bring thought leaders from all over the world together. And they promote it for this upcoming year. I'm one of the 3 people in the promotional video for Love Tomorrow. I can't believe these things have happened, but they've happened because for 26 years, I've studied how to communicate with human beings and how to cause those things from the front of the room. Shattering sales records on Tony Robbins' stage, having the highest scores for teams of massive numbers of Disney executives they've ever had. I humbly share that privilege, along with being one of only 2 attorneys to have 2 top 100 national jury verdicts between 2014 and 2016 out of 1.2 million attorneys, and the only one that was blind. Yes, I'm blind to do that. So my credibility, my pedigree in this space, and again, I share this from a place of humility, but no false modesty, is many people are now beginning to say that I'm the greatest speaker they've ever seen. And many people are saying they believe I'm the greatest speaker in the world, or certainly in the top 5 on the planet. And this is being said by people who've worked in the biggest rooms, biggest stages, biggest places. And everyone believes, like speakers are all kind of the same, and they're not. So that's the credibility I bring to the space, that I've spoken in the largest corporations and most famous in the world, the most challenging, competitive personal development stage to reach in the world, Tony Robbins. And I've done it in the federal courts, the state courts. I've done it in small rooms and enormous rooms. I've done it with prison guards, corporate executives at Disney, and everything in between. So from that place of gratitude, that place of certainty about how do you choose a speaker, and oh, by the way, I have my own platform. I put speakers on it all the time. I've had some incredibly well-known speakers come onto my stage. They're like, yes, it's going to be absolutely amazing. And when I got in the high 90s, some of these people have gotten in the mid 60s in their score. I've even brought speakers on my stage that have gotten in the low 30s and been hissed off of my stage. You don't want that experience. So here's how to choose the people for your stage. First, do you feel depth? If you do not feel depth, the person doesn't belong on your stage. Can you feel the authenticity, the depth of their heart, their soul, their being? And if that's not there, run. Second, do they know what they're talking about? When you're communicating with them, besides feeling their heart, their depth, their authenticity, are they a subject matter expert? Do you feel they can answer questions, speak on their feet, that they can communicate with people and profoundly impact thinking, the heart, and the soul all at the same time? Because if they can't do that, then they don't belong up there, because they're just wasting time talking about love and heart and being, but they can't move forward because the logical people in the room are going to say, this person doesn't even know what they're talking about. So mastery in subject matter, of course, is vital. Third, do you like speaking with them? Are you having a good time? Are they enjoyable? There's somebody you want to have lunch or dinner with, invite over your house. And if that's not the case, there's only one reason that you would bring them in as a speaker, and only one reason. I'll get to that in a second. But if they're not that thing I'm going to talk about in a moment, and you would want to have lunch or dinner, there's no way you should be introducing your team, putting them on your stage. Now, what can counterbalance this is if somebody is so profoundly famous or has such an unbelievably powerful story that it could override some of the likability characteristics of the whole thing. So for example, we did a massive gala for the American Foundation for the Blind a couple years back. We had celebrity athletes, all these people, and one of the celebrity athletes was an absolute nightmare to deal with personally. However, we ended up on Extra on national television because he was there. That mattered to the people from Extra to come. So sometimes there could be an overriding principle that would make somebody so famous or have such an unbelievably relevant story that it could be somebody maybe you want to be having lunch or dinner with, but it can carry the day with the group and audience. That is the only exception to that rule. And finally, we mentioned that Cicero dude. And what Cicero said makes the difference between a great speaker and a person of massive influence from that stage is when a great speaker is done, people say, hey, wow, that person was a great speaker. But when somebody truly masterful completes, the group, the individual says, I want to go forward and march. I want to take this message. I want to change something, and I want to go forward and march. That's what you're looking for in true mastery. And I've also had the privilege of raising millions and millions of dollars charitably and running a massive gala that ended up on national television, the American Foundation for the Blind Gala on Extra, and it ended up winning a Telly Award for a trailer that was created for a reality charity show on television that hasn't launched, but the trailer won a Telly Award. So what we've done in the space of oration, it not only creates a massive ability to take people forward, it also creates the ability to drive revenue. And I don't know a higher purpose for using the stage and the microphone than to create impact. And in raising millions and millions of dollars for Ukraine relief, to going there, having missiles flying overhead in Kyiv, to seeing what can happen and having a national news show like Extra come and cover the AFB gala that we did. All of these things are the same thing. The power of the stage and microphone, the credibility factor of being on the biggest corporate stages, biggest philanthropic stages, making all of these things come together, speaking to professionals all over the world. In fact, I've had the privilege of having an organization called Law 2.0 call me the future of business. I had another colleague say this online on a Facebook post who speaks on Tony Robbins' stage, who's partnered with Bill Gross, the most successful quantitative entrepreneur in history. He said this, I have seen the future of communication, and its name is Sean Callagy. And who do many people consider to be the greatest speaker in the world? It may not be your taste, but many people consider him to be number one, Tony Robbins. And he shared with his hand on his heart, his hand on my heart, with tears of gratitude pouring down my face. No one leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callagy. And if you don't know what he's up to, you need to. These are just a few pieces of credibility, but I'm not pretending that they're not exactly what I share, which is my mastery and expertise, not a lot of things, but certainly about how to choose a speaker and how to be one of the most powerful speakers in the world. And we also do top educational training for lawyers, accountants, financial services, medical doctors, certified to give credits. So we have that credibility from every conceivable angle. In addition, we're certified as a disability-owned company to do work with major corporations. 70 of the Fortune 100 are part of Adobe, and we're an Adobe certified company because of my blindness and our expertise in this space. Thank you for watching. People put up videos all the time. This is our heart, our mission, our passion. So if you want to bring us in to speak, we'd be honored to have that conversation. Or if you want to communicate with us about how to choose a speaker, love to have that conversation. Or third, you're seeking training at any level for your group or you individually to most powerfully deliver from the front of the room, as powerfully as anybody on the planet, then click the link. Let's work together and build this mission, because I don't believe there's anything in our divisive, crazy, interesting world, recession, economy, all the dynamics, than standing in front of humans, causing alignment, and for them to move forward. Thanks. I'm Sean Callaghan.